Hey everyone, it is Laura, and I hope you are having a wonderful full moon. We have entered eclipse season, which means basically anything and everything is possible. I don't tend to see eclipse seasons as, scary, foreboding, negative things. I think that that's really dropping into the density of our being. I think it's really dropping into the narrative that change is bad. And I don't believe that on any level. And so I have your weekly reading for you, and it's pretty comprehensive, actually. Um, my teams were very clear that there's going to be peaks and valleys this week. So really high highs and potentially really, really low lows. And our job is to take in both with equal measure. So we want to relish the highs, we want to enjoy them, but we equally don't want to make light of or take too seriously the lows. And that's a very fine edge to walk, and to be able to stay on. And they made it very clear that if we sink too deep into the low moments of this week, then the feelings that we experience shift to more the darker feelings, more the heavier, denser feelings that actually weigh us down from taking action than they do lift us up. And that's not to say to ignore them. It just means that the person who can find something to smile about, even when there are tears rolling down their face, is the person who ultimately holds the power to either have a life of ease and grace or a life of difficulty. Because everything they say boils down to rhythms and frequency. Nobody tells the squirrel to begin preparing for winter and hiding food. Nobody tells the wind to blow or the snow to fall. It simply is what it is. You are simply who you are. You are you. What is, is. And it's very easy to get caught up in, these loops of behavior. But we have to understand, they say, that these loops of behavior that are taking place are, number one, not the universe bitch slapping you. You, before you stepped into this incarnation, created a blueprint for yourself, even down to the people or the experiences which instigated the loops and the patterns that you have found yourself in. And many of you will find yourself in them this week. They made a statement, and I'm trying to remember because I recorded it, I didn't write it down verbatim. But they made a statement about how basically that the cadence of the highs and lows this week are nothing new. They're just happening at a higher frequency, a faster cadence, if you will. And when I asked for clarification, they basically, in their funny little way, said that it's the nature of life. What goes up must come down. What is down is going to eventually go back up. Think of a clock. You're never at noon, or the 12 all the time. You're going to eventually be all the way down at the bottom of that clock, and then you're going to go right back up again. Just like nature has her rhythms that are a natural occurrence, we can make our experiences more easeful and graceful when we tap in to the collective and natural rhythms that exist in this space, in this world, rather than resenting them, rather than thinking that change is bad, rather than, sinking so deep into the heaviness we may be feeling because something goes wrong, but being able to try to feel what we feel and then pivot to see a greater picture, because they reminded us that, there's so much to be grateful for. There's so much beauty to behold, even in the worst of times. And let's be frank, 2020 has been fucked. It's not been a good year on multiple levels. But we could also say that 2020 has opened our eyes to the fact that we made it through. We are here. We've learned some pretty fucking valuable lessons. We've learned so much about ourselves. We have come to this place where, we faced down some shit that we've never had to face before, and we're here. And even that is something to smile about, to have gratitude over, to feel good about, because it reminds us, holy fuck, I'm pretty damn strong. I am like legit pretty fucking badass. And squirrel energy was very, very prominent in the imagery they were giving me, in the messages that they were giving me. And I think it's because a lot of the energy that's coming through is that we don't want to allow the low moments to rob us of our playfulness, to rob us of our ability to have fun, to see the good in life, to rob us of our ability to have faith, to have joy, gratitude. Because many of us have, to the point that there are aspects of ourselves that are truly cut off from feeling the fullest expression of that. And it does not need to be that way at all. We don't need to be in that space. We are always going to have highs and lows. This week, they're probably going to be a little bit faster, a little more hectic and chaotic. But allow the buoyancy and the happiness and the joy of the highs to be the soothing balm for those moments where you're not feeling quite as high, where you may be feeling pretty low. There's going to be a lot of change that takes place. They kept speaking to a massive clearing because as we approach the December 12th Stargate, the portal opening, as we approach the solstice, there are going to be very, very high frequency energies coming down. And whether you pay attention to them or not, whether you choose to open yourself to feel them or not, it doesn't change the fact that they're coming down and you're being impacted by them. But like all of life, we have the choice. Do we see 2020 as a year that was fucked and crazy and screwed up? Yeah, it kind of was. But we can also say, and yet here I still am. Here I am. I made it here. Didn't always know if I would, and I'm speaking royally, but we did it. We made it. So we have a choice how we embody this week and how we embody the next several months, which I'll be getting into in the December reading. And also getting into tomorrow for the full moon reading. But I want you to consciously make the decision that even in the low moments, feel what you're going to feel. Allow yourself the clearing, energy and motion. That's what we want. When we don't express emotion, where do you think it goes? It builds up in our energy, it builds up in our body, it creates dis-ease, it creates a whole host of problems. So it is on us to feel whatever it is we're feeling, but not to sink so deeply that it robs us of our playfulness, that it robs us of our curiosity, our joy, our love, our capacity for still seeing the world and the beauty within it. Spend time in nature. Listen to the birds, watch the squirrels, hear the wind blow. Feel the crunch of the leaves beneath your feet, or if you're like Colorado and there's already a little snow on the ground, hear the crunch of the snow beneath your feet. But give yourself the opportunity to tap into the collective rhythms so that we can more intentionally and beautifully tap into our interpersonal rhythms. That is going to make a huge difference in how we feel. Don't mind my daughter singing. She's the next operatic singer, I suppose. You don't want to let the low moments rob you, because you deserve the absolute very best. You deserve a life of joy and happiness and gratitude and playfulness and fun and whatever else you choose. But we didn't just come here to experience the sweet. And so when we have a sour moment, when we have patterns or loops of behavior that start to rear their head again, we can go, oh no, here we go again. Or we can say, you know what? This keeps happening for a reason. I'm curious as to what. And to tune in, to listen to the subtle wisdom, but to also ask ourselves, how do I perpetuate this pattern? Rather than learning from it and being the solvency, what do I need to learn rather than perpetuate? And know that all of this week, the question you should be asking yourself is, who am I? And who do I want to be? Because when we tap into the essence of that, we have an anchor point. We have an anchor point that gives us the opportunity to take in every situation, whether it is high or low, and to essentially sit with it and say to ourselves, how would the former version of me respond, react, handle this? And how is the future now, not even future, how is the now version of me that I am choosing to be, that I am becoming, that I am embodying, how does that person do it differently? And so it won't matter how many highs or lows you have. It won't matter if you feel challenged, if you feel a little rocked, if you feel a little lost or adrift. You will have that solid, immovable anchor that by just simply stepping into and asking, you will know precisely what to do, how to do it. And I guarantee you it's going to be far different than it was or would be if you were still clinging to the former version of self. And I'm not saying that all of you needs to change or that we're all fucked up and need to leave every aspect of ourselves behind. What I'm saying is that even those of us who feel great, who have great lives, who, really kind of have no complaints, we're not here to stay static. We're not here to stay the same. There's always places we can improve, and there's always places that we can enrich ourselves more. And it is our job to find where those spaces are and to consciously and with the deepest soulful intent embody them, to choose them, to say, this is the version of myself I want to become. This is the version of myself I am choosing to be right here, right now. And this is how this person would respond to this. This is how they would react to that. And you will know just by asking that point and stepping into that anchor you create, whether you're moving in a direction that's in alignment or if it's one that's taking you out of alignment. So I want to wish you all a very wonderful week. Please know that you are so incredibly important. You are so incredibly supported. We are held and loved in ways that are so inconceivable. Words, they can't even begin to fully express it. They really, really cannot. They can be felt, they can be taken in, but they can't truly be conveyed. So my hope for you this week is that by following these calls to action, by stepping into these energies, by, really allowing yourself to be playful, joyful, grateful, even in the face of challenge. It's easy to do all that when life is going well. Not so easy when it's not. But it's when it's not that we need those qualities even more, because again, if we can find something to smile about when there are tears rolling down our face or we feel hopeless, then that is the individual who has the resiliency, the self-responsibility, and the capability of turning that obstacle into an opportunity. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I love you all immensely, and I'll be in touch soon.